This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
I feel like every time we get together with her, we're vibing, the two of us, but I don't know necessarily if it's just that. I believe it's the universe around us and we're experiencing at the same time. Before we got together, I'm thinking about saying to her, like, it just feels heavy right now. She does astrology and coaching. It's heavy. And I don't want to like just say that and be negative and have her read into it. We'll see if yes, it is, but because of, and just saying what I think she's going to say or what I want to hear. And before I can say it, she basically said the same exact thing. And there apparently is a astrological reason for that. And we're going to dig into that and a lot more. And by the way, if you're not watching this, around the time of November 20th, 25, let's say it's months past, all good because this is just further backing up how astrology supports us. She is
Mhm.
Nancy Volante, our professional of the year. She's back. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, Steve, but it's a little heavy today. Like I was saying, like I can actually feel it in my head because I'm
Mm.
very attuned physically, being a dancer and all that. So I feel it in my head. So, took a nice long meditation today to really ground myself.
Mm.
And yeah, new moon in Scorpio.
I'm gonna just fire off questions before we get there because I'm not gonna hold back. I'm just gonna be this is what's
Don't,
on my mind and maybe it's on the mind of others.
yeah, don't hold back.
I'm feeling, at least in my world, it's time for changes. It's time to,
Mm.
make some adjustments, go in a different direction. I'm starting to look at things that's, not negative, just observation. That's not working here. That's not working there. Something's got to give in a different direction. And I don't mean in one particular situation. I'm just saying, just in general.
Yeah.
Would you say that is, and don't just say it because I'm saying it.
Absolutely not. I
Is
won't.
that what's going on here?
I love, I love what you said, Steve, and this is why I love when we get together. You said a shift, right? You
Yeah.
said a give and take. Um, and that's kind of what I brought up today. So we have this new moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is water. It's fixed. So it's determined in, it's yin in her ways. And and it's in opposition with a Mercury. It's in opposition. Okay, so the new moon in Mercury, the sun is in, I mean, sorry, let me rephrase. The moon is in Scorpio, the sun is in Scorpio, and Mercury retrograde is in Scorpio, and they're all at 28 degrees, which means that they're in a conjunction and a stellium. So this is a highly concentrated, energetic new moon. And
Mm.
it's in opposition to Uranus in Taurus and retrograde. So we got a lot of stuff going on. You mentioned change, that's Uranus. You mentioned shift, that's Uranus. So this opposition, which oppositions are, they're tension. They're like pulling you from one, if you had your hands out in a T, they're pulling you from one end to the other, reflecting each other, like, okay, who's going to give?
Mm.
You know, who's not going to give? What are we going to do here? Can we adjust and dance? I like, I think that oppositions are revealing. I think that they're about integration, but it doesn't come easy. It's
Mm.
got to have a consciousness to it. It's got to have a rhyme and a reason. And Scorpio wants that rhyme and a reason. So this new moon in Scorpio that's conjunct with the sun, always new moons are conjunct with new moon and sun is always conjunct. And that Mercury. So really asking us to take a deep dive. Guess where? Into our emotional landscape.
Mm.
into our subconscious of learned behaviors. What's not working? What needs to change? How can we bring that up? Which, that's what Scorpio wants us to do is she wants us to go deep in to cultivate what's not working so we can regenerate. And Scorpio says, when you allow me to regenerate, I can hold capacity for you. And
Mm.
that capacity is the space in between. Hmm.
Deep.
You got
Deep.
to be honest because that's what Scorpio wants.
Well, yes. So let's say we finally realize it. We are being honest with ourselves. Maybe this relationship here, that one over there. You know, you have the answers. I truly believe inside of us, we already know the answer. We don't want to face the answer many times because change is uncomfortable, can be painful. But you're looking at a couple of relationships, and it's not working. I'm just going through the motions, if you will. Could be a professional situation, or maybe an idea. You had a side hustle you came up with, and it sounded like a good idea, but it's not taking hold. Is it time to just put it to the side?
Right. So, what do you do in that situation, which
Yes.
happens to all of us? Do
Yes.
we play small and say, okay, I'm just going to stay where I am. I'm going to put a little tight box around myself so
Mm.
I don't rock the boat.
Yep. Yep.
Am I just going to play it small? So that and Scorpio's going, oh, you missed the opportunity. Okay, we'll try again.
It's
All
like
right.
here Scorpio saying, here we go again. You're doing it
Yeah, it's
again.
like I'd love to transform. That's what Scorpio is. Transformation, evolution, soul growth. But that archetype can only do that if we have the choice and allow the consciousness to understand what our limitations are. What is our beliefs? What have we been told? What have we created for ourselves that allow us to be small, allow us to go with the conform with what we don't really like, what we don't really want. And then in this opposition, if you will, with Uranus, Uranus is saying, hey, I want truth, I want disruption, and I want change because I'm the great awakener.
Hmm.
So I'm going to pull that Mercury Scorpio in opposition to Uranus and Taurus. You brought up relationship. Well, Taurus is about relationship because ruled by Venus. It's about the relationship with self and others. Taurus wants us to understand what our values are. What is the meaning of what we value? What is our stability? And what are the resources that we can do as I'm in this crazy planet of Uranus? I need stability. I need resources in order to create the change. Now, with that said, Steve, just one more second here before
Mhm.
I want you to ask me questions, and I know you have them. Uranus went retrograde July 7th in Taurus because, no, excuse me, July 7th is when Uranus went into Gemini. Okay. Then retrograded back November 7th. Okay. Because Uranus and Taurus want to know, okay, what have you learned? Did you get it? Do we need to go through some stuff? And this new moon in Scorpio is helping us to cultivate anything that we didn't quite get. Because, Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. Uranus will be in Gemini for 7 years. So that's a long time. And maybe, myself today, I'll do that. Maybe you will. Maybe our listeners will. What's gone on 2018 to now? What do I need to have,
Hmm.
re-look at? in order to Mercury in Scorpio take a deep investigation into my limiting beliefs, where we keep ourselves small. I think the most important thing in this new moon for myself is Mercury in Scorpio in opposition to Uranus and Taurus. That's a mouth.
Questions?
Please.
Questions? If you feel that something's not working and you really know it, it's not just, "Well, I have an idea." No, you just know that whatever it is not really working now. What questions can you ask, and or what can you do to move it forward or make the change? Get out of the box that we create. Get out of the comfort zone because it feels safe. So you just kind of keep doing what you were doing. How do we do that? And along with that, is now the best time to make that change?
I'm going to go a little bit backwards. I do think it's the best time to make a change.
Okay.
And with a new moon and Mercury and Scorpio and in opposition to this Uranus and Taurus, I think it's a good time to become conscious of that. Also to have support. Scorpio is an intense archetype, but it's also a very loving archetype when you get into the higher consciousness of it. It wants to be energetic, it wants to be creative, it wants you to be the best that you can be in what your soul purpose is. But I think it's a good time to talk to a friend, talk to a therapist, talk to a coach, to
Mm,
get that support of asking the question, because we know, with Scorpio, it's like we have these deep or subconscious limiting beliefs, and we know them, and we long to transform them. But it's really hard to bring them up because
yes.
there's emotion, there's pain, there might be some shame. There's all these things involved that are very valid because Scorpio really is a psychological archetype too. It deals with the psychology of our soul.
Hmm.
So I think, some of those questions are, how do I feel? When I ask myself, or maybe you could ask yourself, where am I playing small? Where does that land in your body?
Playing small is a great way to describe it.
I know.
You know,
And
I-
I've done that a lot in my life. And I'll tell you, and then I'm sorry to interrupt. When I ask myself that question, where I feel it is my solar plexus, my gut.
because you got nose. The gut knows
Because
you're.
because
It knows. It
it
knows
knows.
that you're capable of so much more, but you
Mm,
continue to play small. And
yeah,
now you're conflicting yourself because your inner soul, you, your intuition is saying, no, 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 you can do better. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but even in relationships, we all have,
absolutely.
you have close relationships, then others that are just outside of that, then others outside of that. And then maybe you're spending more time with the others and that you're playing small because I'll be honest with you. In the past 6 or so months, I was connected to someone, saw them in a totally different light when I first met them. Yeah, just a friend, kind of maybe a little business here and there. But then I took a step back. I'm like, that's not what I thought it was. They're not what they presented to be. This doesn't work. I still connect with them, but on a different level. I don't look at
Yeah,
it in the same way. And just basically, I don't play chess, but I got to imagine it's like this. I just move the board around and maybe
yeah,
put that over there a little bit because
yeah,
it doesn't really support. It's taking up your energy and space. Um, but our intuition knows, and it probably feels uncomfortable too when you inside is saying one thing, but the universe is saying another thing.
absolutely. And that is a conflict. And that conflict can produce growth if we're listening and feeling and
Mm.
communicating. You know what I mean? It's like when we play small, we're also conforming to, okay, you know, if I say to people, this is just a hypothetical,
Hmm.
if I say to people, oh, I followed my intuition on that, and it really, my intuition is telling me to really go in another direction. Is that supported by our culture and our society at this time?
More than it has been, but how
Okay,
far?
I like that. Yeah, more than it has been. Why do you say that, Steve? I find that so interesting. I love it.
Because I believe that many of us are looking for something because what's around us isn't working or what we've been doing isn't working. So we're
Mm.
looking for something else, but we're not sure what that something else is, but we're open to hearing things.
Mm.
And I see this in the metaphysical world, even going back about 15 years, I was involved in a major launch of a website, metaphysical connected, whole big thing. The person that started this website was way ahead of their time. And I came in to support them and work with them. The the collective audience, if you will, wasn't ready for it. We're ready
Wasn't
for
ready
this.
for it.
We're ready for this kind of stuff now.
You know what? Thank you. And I'm so glad I brought this up. We are ready for it.
Yeah.
And we're at the precipice of a choice point. We're at the choice point now. And that's what that Pluto and Aquarius is working with us. All these planets are working with us to make that choice. And I think you're so 100% right. And we are moving in that direction. And I think we will continue with podcasts like this with people that, want to support community, Pluto and Aquarius. Can we work from the ground up now instead of from the top down? How can we support each other in inclusion instead of exclusion
Hmm.
in a way that supports our differences within our commonalities?
Do you feel now you're deep into this in terms of astrology and coaching? Do you feel at this point in your life, you know what you want? You know, and I'm not even going to say need, but maybe that feeds you as well. It's very clear for you, especially at this time. Would you say that's true in you?
You know what? I'm going to say that it's true the last few years for me. Absolutely. And as I've gone through my own healing of my own belief limitations
Sure,
about what I do and
sure.
what I don't do, I have gotten clearer and clearer and I've done a lot of work and there's been a lot of pain and there's been a lot of gratefulness and so because we live in a world that we have both, we have to dance. It's like we have to tango, like I say, with this Uranus and Taurus in opposition with these three planets, two luminaries, the moon, the sun, and Mercury. They're doing a really great tango, if you will.
Hmm.
And it's a tight dance, right? It's a precise dance,
Hmm.
right? Not that, Uranus wants that, but Taurus wants that. Mercury likes a little precise. Scorpio wants to be very precise. So I think this is a great dance to make. And I'm really grateful to be able to do this work right now and to feel clearer about it than I have because, I've been studying for 20, 25 years. I didn't always feel comfortable saying, "Oh, I'm an astrologer." I kept that, and I'm going to talk about it in a Scorpio way. I kept that a secret from certain people.
Hmm.
But I didn't keep a secret. Oh, yeah, I'm a teaching artist, I'm a dancer. Although that wasn't mainstream, it felt better to me.
Because you knew or you felt that it would be better accepted than to say, "Yeah, I'm an astrologer." Because some people think that's a little woo. Sure, she look
That's
crazy. She
right.
believes in the planets and all of that. But you get to a point in your life, even when I talk to those close to me, going through challenges, I'm sort of like the therapist. I attract it, it comes to me, and I'll suggest modalities that I know inside I feel that would help them, and then they'll say, "No, not that. I'm going to continue with meds. I got this. I got to go. No, it's not going to work." Nah, nah, nah. and I can't, I just walk away. I'm like, okay, I can't, I can only do so much,
You could
but I
only
believe
do
in it.
that. Yeah, you can only do so much because in the end, we can give people that support and that guidance and that understanding, but if they're not ready to feel, and I'm talking the new moon in Scorpio and the archetype Scorpio, if you're not ready to feel, Scorpio is saying, I can't transform anything.
Mm,
What is there to transform if you don't give me anything, right?
yep.
It's like an actor getting fed lines. If you're not going to feed me anything, I can't speak.
Hmm.
You know, if you're not going to ask me any questions, I can't give you an answer. So if you're not going to allow yourself to really feel and investigate what you need to do to move forward or what you need to do to create your passion and your dream, then I can't help you transform that.
More questions for you.
I love it.
So, based on what we're talking about and the transits of now, and say that again, the full moon, give me that again, because I want to share that
Yeah.
with others after we get off
So,
here.
yeah, well, the new moon.
The new moon.
So
Thank you.
the moon is in Scorpio. The sun is in Scorpio. So they're conjunct. That creates our new moon for today. And then we also have that Mercury in Scorpio retrograde.
Got it. So,
Venus is also in Scorpio, Steve, but not in that conjunction. We got a lot of Scorpio happening.
so
Yeah.
let's say you're feeling, people are feeling what we're talking about, where I know I need to make a change. How do you find the answer? This is not working. That's not working. I had an idea for a side hustle. I thought it was great. I gave it a little bit of push. It just didn't materialize. I don't want to give up, but I'm feeling maybe the universe is saying I need to go over here. How do you know where here is? How do you find that answer?
And I'm going to go back to the chart with this opposition of Uranus and Taurus. You find that with Scorpio and Uranus, right, in this opposition through trust. You
Hmm.
have to trust the unknown. Nobody could actually do that for you, right? You could get guidance, you can come to coaching, you could go get Reiki, you could go get healing, all this beautiful stuff that is out there to support us. But without cultivating a trust that, yeah, I can walk into the unknown. That's Uranus. Uranus will hold you.
Hmm.
Uranus. Now, the thing is, we have Uranus in Taurus at 29 degrees. That's an anaretic degree, Steve. That's the degree where it is intense. It's a crisis. You want to make a change or you don't. So I'm just going to have to see where you're at, Uranus says. Because you know what? I will support you. The universe will support.
Hmm.
And this whole stellium of the new moon and Mercury in Scorpio is at 28 degrees. These are ending degrees, it's not like 0 degrees. It's like we're at the end of the journey. Can we make some kind of choice? Now, they're not saying you got to make the whole ball of wax. You take a little step.
Or maybe, and we're
Yeah.
just about out of time, maybe the
Oh,
word is refocus. So
refocus.
you're not leaving this totally behind, but you're putting your focus elsewhere where it may better support you. Maybe that's a relationship. It's not
Yeah.
like you're going to make a phone call today. Hey, it's been great, but we're not talking anymore. Bye. You're not going to do that, but
Right.
you're going to put your focus over here. As my mom used to say, don't put your eggs all in one basket.
Right.
And I'd be like, what are you
It's
talking
so
about, mom?
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you put your eggs all in one basket, you're stuck.
Yeah, you can't
Where do you
you
go?
can't make a good bacon egg and cheese sandwich if the eggs are over here. I need to take a few and put them over here. Um,
Yeah.
in 15 seconds, I always
Yeah.
ask this the Nancy 10 scale, 1 to
Mm.
10. This being the time to make those changes or adjustments or refocusing that you've been thinking of, the opportunity, and I kind of know where you're going to go with this, but 1 to 10, where do you think we're at compared to, let's say, other parts of the year or even the year before?
Yeah, because I like this number, I'm going to say 12. And I'm going to say you do that with compassion,
Mm,
you do that with guidance, and you do that with support. Nobody's saying that anybody has to do the whole ball of wax now. It's one step at a time. It's
yeah.
staying grounded. It's staying purposeful to what you're releasing and letting go of. You're going to use that, it's like compost. We're just transforming.
Mm.
But it's about taking your time, being conscious, and really being kind, as you love to say, and I love to say, Steve, be kind.
I love you, but I hate you for saying it's a 12 because it's staring in the face. It's saying,
But it's
okay, here we
yeah.
go. You know what you need to do. We all know what we need to do. We
Oh
just don't want to
yeah.
do it because it's uncomfortable. There could be a little bit of pain going through it and all of it. Yeah.
Right. But
Mm.
even so that so this real quick, so this new moons are about planting seeds, right? So again, please don't think you have to do this
Okay,
change in
fair
one
enough.
day,
Fair
you
enough.
know?
You know,
But so this, sorry, Steve, I want to get it in real quick. Planting seeds for
mm,
this new moon is about, because I wrote it down, is about rebirth and regeneration in order to hold capacity. So if you just do that, that's a beautiful thing. Just so your body can, I want to hold capacity. I want to regenerate. I want to have resilience.
mm.
That's a
Okay.
beautiful thing.
I like that. It's not as scary now. We're just drop the
No.
seeds, sow the earth, water a little bit, and kind of
Yes.
lean back, as opposed to coming in with a bobcat and lift up
Yeah.
the land and throw it over to
No.
the side. No. Okay,
No.
fair enough. The
But
whispering.
it is intense, right? If you feel intense today, just breathe, take a walk, put
Mm.
your feet on the ground. It will move because that's what emotions do. They move. It's us that make them stuck.
This is what you do, the blend of astrology and coaching, and beautifully done. TheWhisperingSoul.net. You can do it virtually anywhere during any transit, by the way, but now's the
That's
time.
right.
Make that change. Thank you for today, Nancy.
Oh,
It's really good, as always.
thank you, Steve. I love it as always. Have a
Same.
beautiful day.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.